Today we're going to be doing is talking about what I think is one of the most important things about learning how to play blues solos, which is the combination of both major and minor pentatonic at the same time. Now, when I was learning how to play guitar in the early days, I learned about minor pentatonic, and I learned that major pentatonic is done by moving down 3 frets, which is great. I mean, and it works wonderfully. So for me, the problem was when I would go to solo over like bluesier stuff like AC/DC or whatever, I would either have to choose minor pentatonic or major pentatonic. And so oftentimes, like I remember somebody telling me once that a great place to go major pentatonic in a 12-bar blues that we've been talking about is over the 4 chord. So I'd be like, oh, okay, well that must be what everybody does, is everybody plays minor pentatonic over the 1, and then when it goes to the 4 chord, that's when they'd go to the major pentatonic. And then when it goes back to the 1 chord, they go back to minor. Now, to be fair, it works. It sounds great. There is no hard and fast rule to that, though. I mean, you could go major pentatonic anytime you want. And some songs actually kind of prefer major pentatonic over minor pentatonic. So again, the logistics behind all this stuff, I describe all of that stuff in the guitar course. But basically, if you think about it, if you're playing something that's bluesy, you could solo minor pentatonic or major pentatonic and it would sound just fine. But for me, the real magic came when I learned how to play major and minor at the same time. So that's what I want to talk about today and get you some things to think about. Again, I don't want to waste your time, just give you some things to think about and see if this helps you a little bit. So if I was to take A minor pentatonic, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these notes of minor pentatonic and I'm going to use major pentatonic instead. Now, let me show you what major, again, for me, major pentatonic was 3 frets down, but there is a second position here, this one right here. Now, if you can't really see these things, don't stress about it. You can watch this video as much as you need to. You can watch other videos that I have, or you can certainly look at the guitar course, which I'm going to explain all this stuff in a methodical manner so it makes sense to you. But if I took that major pentatonic, and let's look at this part right here. I have 5-7, 4-7, 4-7, 4-6, 5-7, 5-7. Well, let's just start with the first 2 strings, 5-7, 5-7. Where when I played minor pentatonic, I had 5-8, 5-8. So if I was just to take that and play half major and half minor, just that sounds very bluesy. Now, there are no right or wrong here when you're soloing. You can do all kinds of different things. So I might play this and then head out to the 8th fret of the 2nd string, which is that minor note, and add a bend or something. Okay? Or I could take all those notes and combine them together and make something even more elaborate. Now, you'll notice when I do that, though, it loses a bit of its blues luster. It becomes something else, and what it becomes is super cool, but it begins to sound a little less like blues and a little bit more like a more elaborate scale, where if I keep them separate, it sounds pretty cool. Now, let's look at this 3rd string. Now, major, I'd have 5 and 7. Or minor, 5 and 7. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 4 and 6, I'm going to add that 6 in to the 5 and 7. And the way I'm going to do this is what I call the minor to major twist, which is playing the 5th fret to the 6th fret. So I'm playing a minor note and then playing a major note at the same time. And if I combine that with what I just showed you, and the effectiveness there is doing the 5 to 6 as a forward motion. When you do it backwards, it doesn't sound as bluesy anymore. It almost sounds exotic. So the trick is is when you're going to play that 5 to 6, do it as a forward motion from 5 to 6. Whether you hammer it, whether you pick it is entirely up to you. And I don't have to do this note all the time. I can play 5 and 7, right? Or whatever it is that I choose to play. I'm just trying to give you kind of a palette to work from here. Okay. Now, sometimes what I'll do is instead of playing 5 and 7 on the 4th string, I'll play 4 and 7, which is major. So now I've got 4, 7, 5, 6, 5, 7, 5, 8. And then I can always drop into my minor pentatonic at any time and do something, you know, the normal stuff you might play. Like we talked about in yesterday's video. But then you drop into that major minor thing and all of a sudden it sounds really, really cool. So the last note I want to show you today is what we call the blue note or the blues note, okay? Which is that note right there. Now it's an ugly note on its own, but it sounds great when you use it in conjunction with the notes around it. And its octave is right there. You see? So I'd have minor pentatonic, I'd have major pentatonic, I have combination, and adding the blues note. And I get just all kinds of stuff. So again, I know it might seem like I'm running kind of fast through this stuff, and this is all dependent on where you are in your guitar journey, right? If you're brand new to blues or blues soloing, or you've never studied these things before, you might be going, that's a lot, right? If you've done some of this before, you're going, oh, okay, well, I get it. I've seen this before, or I've done this before, or I've taught this sort of thing before, whatever your case might be. But that's what guitar courses for me are all about. I make a lot of videos on YouTube to try and help people, but guitar courses are, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of material that's meant to be comprehensive, and it's meant to move from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to teach you exactly how to apply these things, not just play them, but how does it work, how to make them sound most effective. And that's what the guitar course is for. So if it's something that you might be interested in, please do me a favor, click on the link. And if not, that's cool. Hopefully you learned something from this and you can use it in your playing. So we've got one more day. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about jamming, putting all this together in an actual jam. Hopefully that works out on my end for you. And I'm going to find some way to get you a jam track as well so you can try some of this on your own. So take care. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon, okay?